This is one of one of my favourite pieces of work, and it's called What I Live For, and it's by George Lioness Banks, and it goes like this. I live for those who love me, whose hearts are kind and true, for the heaven that smiles above me and awaits my coming too, for all human ties that bind me, for the task by God assigned me, for the bright hopes yet to find me, and the good that I can do. I live to learn their story, who suffered for my sake, to emulate their glory and follow in their wake. Bards, patriots, martyrs, sages, the heroic of all the ages, whose deeds crowd history's pages, and time's great volume make. I live to hold communion with all that is divine, to feel there is a union twixt nature's heart and mine, to profit by affliction, reap truths from fields of fiction, grow wiser by conviction, and to fulfill God's grand design. I live to hail that season by gifted ones foretold, when men shall live by reason and not alone by gold, when man to man united and every wrong thing righted, the whole world shall be light with a love and joy untold. I live for those who love me, for those who know me true, for the heaven that smiles above me and awaits my spirit too, for the cause that lacks assistance, for the wrong that needs resistance, for the future in the distance and the good that I can do. And those are words that I've used when I feel really I want to give up, or I want to stop, or why doesn't that person understand me, because I know, I didn't mean it like that and they've taken it the wrong way. And we all go through those things, don't we? And I found words that have touched me at the right time. And I don't know if you've got a book that touches you at the right time, but I have quite a few, and I think we can read all the books in the world, but if we haven't, it hasn't touched our heart, and it hasn't touched our soul, and it hasn't uplifted and changed our thinking, then we're not getting anywhere. And in mediumship in particular, in spiritualism, we've got some great people that really fought so we could be free to talk about spiritualism and to talk about mediumship. We've got great people that really stood up for what they believed in, and you can mention them. I mean, mediumship started in America, and everybody goes like, it's in America. Yes, it did. And it started through people that were fighting for the right to be free to do and be who they were. And, and that goes on in spiritualism, and it's still going on today because we have to fight for the right. What worries me about mediums and mediumship is this, that we get so caught up in the mediumship that we essentially lose the story. We lose the philosophy, we lose this inspiration that should come from the soul. Not everybody's supposed to be standing up on a platform giving communication between the two worlds. We all can do that, I know, but there's so much more that should be behind it, that we should be saying, I need to speak the truth, I need to speak some of the philosophy that really has helped mankind to live at peace with themselves. Because mediumship itself does not do that. It's what's behind that, those times when we listen to the great philosophers of the past. But we all have to have principles to live with. But what are your principles? Have you got caught up and allowed mediumship to be so important in your mind that you're forgetting about the other side of mediumship, the philosophy, the understanding the spirit world, the going out there and investigating, talking to the spirit world just for talking to them's sake. You know, how many of you know the name of your guides and inspirers? How many of you know where they came from? You know, because we should, because they're people. And with them, they've got the philosophy, because they move through all the levels, so they have a greater wisdom than our conscious minds have. And they touch our soul and open our spirit so that our spiritual intelligence can rise. So that we're greeting them with a spiritual intelligence so we can go on and we can get deeper. I wish I'd have always have felt like that. I'd have saved myself such a lot of heartbreak. And then I came upon this book, and it's the hymn book from the Spiritualist National Union, and I always found something in it that would inspire me to go that other mile, to take that next step on the journey. So perhaps you've got a book, or perhaps you've got poetry that you read that actually can inspire you to actually go to the spirit world and say, can you explain this to me? Not explain just about my mediumship, but could you just explain to me why this is like this? I call Miksan, who's my main control, I actually call him the chairman of the board. And I feel that I go to a board of directors when I go to the spirit world, and I'm talking to them. And we talk about so many different things, so many things that have given me insights, but always left me looking for the further insight. So not actually solving my problems or answering my questions, but giving me enough information so I'll question it. And then I'll go into myself and I'll sit with me and I'll try and listen to my soul and my spirit and see what that's got to say. Because I was, a long time ago, when I was very young in spiritualism, I thought the spirit world did everything. You know, it would be, do you think I should wear this colour today? Or do you think I should wear that colour? Or do you think I could knock these tablets off now? Or do you think I could do this? And I thought they were going to answer everything for me. And I thought that they did. I really thought that they did. And I have a lovely novice nun works with me occasionally. And she said to me, I'm going to give you some work, she said, and then I want you to read it properly. And it's called The Spirit Within. And it's all about listening to my own spirit and actually believing and trusting in the spirit within you, rather than trusting everybody out there, but trusting what's inside you, and allow that to grow. Because when you go to the spirit world, you can either go with an empty suitcase or a full suitcase. The empty suitcase will hold your mediumship. The full suitcase will hold your philosophy and your truth by which you lived. And that's the difference. So it won't be how many demonstrations you did or how good your private sittings were at the end of the day. It will be how inspired you were and allowed your spirit to actually feed you. And I found that very, very hard at the time to actually follow, because I always thought something outside of me would always know better than me. I don't know how many of you understand what I'm saying. So for me to have to actually believe in me, and really the problem we've got, you see, is we will believe in the spirit world and you will say, I'm here to work on behalf of the spirit world. But you want it in an order of your understanding. And if we don't allow the spirit within to rise up, then our understanding can't change. When we start to open up and open the soul up to actually identify with the God source, then we'll begin to realise what mediumship's about. And if I inspire anybody to actually, first of all, learn to dwell with the spirit within. Try and get that conscious mind that's so negative to rest easy with the soul mind until there's an equilibrium between you, and then you can be about your Father's business, because your mediumship is about being about your Father's business. It's a miracle. It passes through you. It doesn't belong to you. It's not a gift you can give away, because it wasn't yours in the beginning. It was the gift of the Spirit within. That's what it was. And if you look at yourselves, you'll find that each and every one of you have come into mediumship at various times in your life, and usually you come in through grief or through crisis, because even when you got it as a child, it goes away and then it comes back, and it usually empowers. And what it is, it's not the spirit world coming here. Like I thought that gentleman that I saw that day actually appeared. I didn't think I played a part in that. But in my anger and in my sorrow and my feeling of total distress, my soul opened. And I should imagine that for many of you, it's a similar story. My soul opened, and the God source spoke, and in speaking allowed someone to appear to me. So that's what happens to all of us. But if we're not careful, you get caught up in the mechanics of mediumship. And in the end, you'll be chasing rainbows, because you'll never be good enough. You'll never be good enough. There was a medium once said to me, I'm only as good as my last demonstration. No, you're not. You're as good as God wants you to be on that particular night. That's what you are. Nothing more, nothing less. So even when you feel you've done a very, very poor demonstration, it must be right in God's eyes. And you may only touch one person in the spirit world out of all of them that come that night, but that one person was right to be there. And when we look at it seriously, it actually brings us a lot of peace and a lot of joy and a lot of confidence. And to a degree, you know, it reduces your nerves, because we suffer, you and I, from nerves. And it's nerve power, not soul power. And getting us across that, how do we get over being nervous? We let God in, we let God rise. And we remember we're about His business, not our own. So if you're nervous, it will eventually blend down till it's, is my makeup on? Have I got the right dress on? Do I look all right in this shirt and tie? That's the only nerves you're going to have. You won't be nervous whether it's going to work or not, because you're right where God wants you to be, on that platform or in that private sitting. And remembering that is so important. And then taking it to the next level, and then the next, and the next. Okay? But talk to the inner self and be proud of what you've got, because it's an inpouring and an outpouring between the two worlds. That lovely duality. So talking to the inner being is as important as you talking to the outer being. And actually having pride in the two. Be proud of the soul power and the God source that's within. Because if